Hey, welcome back to another Movie Reviews to Go. My name's Henry, and today we're going to be doing the spoiler review of the Justice League. Had to wear my Justice League shirt because I wanted to get in the mood. There are going to be a lot of good and bad in this that I'm going to be discussing, but we have to talk about it. It's one of those movies that was like highly anticipated. People wanted to see it, and then they heard all this bad stuff, and then they're like, Bleh. Let me start by saying this. The movie overall is a great movie. I gave it a B for a score. I really enjoyed it, but there are things that brought it down, but not enough to make it well, it's not even a bomb. Sure, it didn't break $100 million, but you know, the reality with these DC movies and comic book movies, they have to make over $100 million to be successful. Look at all the money being spent on CG, marketing, and so on. If they're not making over $100 million, it is not a successful movie. But in my eyes, it was, and I think that you guys should see it. Now, let's talk about some of the things that brought it down first. I want to talk about those and get it out of the way because I think there's more positive than negatives. The CGI word. Let's go back to that. A lot of money was spent on this movie so that it would do well. A lot of money was spent on CGI, but not enough. They did a bunch of reshoots, and I believe the reshoots is what hurt the movie more than anything else. If they would have left the movie the way it was, I actually think it would have been a great movie anyways. But Warner Brothers and the executives of Warner Brothers felt like they needed to make the movie a lot more exciting and fun for people, and so they did reshoots with Joss Whedon. Unfortunately, the time that he came on board and the time that the movie was coming out was not enough time to fix the reshoots. The reshoots did work in the movie though, but a lot of the special effects didn't. For example, Superman. At the beginning of the movie, we see Superman. He's the first thing we see, and he's got the mustache taken off. All right. It is so hard not to notice it. I was trying so hard to just, it's Superman, you know, but all I kept seeing was there's something weird going on with his upper lip because if you didn't know this, Henry Cavill was doing Mission Impossible. And in that movie, his character has a mustache and a beard or semi-beard going on as part of his character. And he was not allowed to shave because he was under contract to remain the way that he looked for this movie. So when they went to do reshoots, here you got Henry Cavill as Superman with a mustache, and they could not shave it off. He was not allowed by contract, was preventing him. And so they're like, that's all right, we'll just take care of it in post CGI, but no big deal. Guess what? It's a big eyesore, all right? You can see it. You can tell that they went in there and like blurred it out or whatever they did, but it looks so bad, okay? It looks so bad. And at times, certain angles, it looks okay, but for the majority part, that was so bad. So that right there was a big negative. But again, not enough for me to just hate the movie, but it did bring it down a little because the CGI is very noticeable there. Continue on with the CGI. There were parts that you can tell that Zack Snyder shot that they kept in when, again, we're sticking with Superman for now. When he is resurrected, I can tell that Zack Snyder shot some of that, and then there's a lot that you could tell Joss Whedon shot, because again, this whole area is very noticeable in some of those scenes. I love the scene though. I love that scene where he gets, back to life, and then he starts like kind of brawling with the other members of the Justice League because he's kind of still in a loop there. And in all actuality, that part was really well done, I thought. But again, when they do the close-up of his face with the CGI, it's almost like you should have just kept those scenes further away to not really point out what you did here on Henry Cavill's face. It's a sad moment, but you know what? That's what maybe they'll fix it all nice and do it all really pretty for the Blu-ray release when it comes out so that it looks actually better because they have time, right? We'll see. Since we are on CGI, let's talk about the villain, Steppenwolf. He had promise as a villain. When they first introduced him, you see him from behind, and I thought, wow, this is looking really cool. Looks real. This guy's a giant. Then they turn around and pan on his face, and then it's just like, oh man. the same thing with him. Whenever he talked, his facial features, they just seem kind of stay like that. See what I'm saying? It looks horrible, right? They couldn't get the muscle features of the face going, and they've done that in other movies. You've seen this. I mean, freak, you go see Monsters, Inc. You can see the hair like flowing in the wind. It looks so real and perfect. Why couldn't they do that here? It's like, did they run out of money or run out of time? Maybe they run out of time. I think that's mostly what it is. They just didn't have the time to fix it. So Steppenwolf, he suffered in the CGI. I can see why they couldn't use just a regular person, because Steppenwolf is supposed to be this humongous threat, this monster, this guy that's going to destroy the earth, and you need to have him look huge. So you couldn't just put a guy playing that part. The villain suffered through the look, but also he wasn't this menacing evil guy that you'd expect to be the destroyer of worlds, like the guy that comes in. I wanted to feel real fear when I see him doing the things that he does. I want to compare it to this part in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf is sitting there with is it Pippin? I believe. I think it's Pippin. They're in the great city, the white city, whatever it's called, and the orcs are breaking in the door, and they're just sitting there scared, what's going to happen? Are they going to bust in and kill everybody? When I first saw that scene sitting in the theater, I really felt this fear. Oh my gosh, like, how would it be if I was the one trapped there waiting for these orcs to come in? Are they, am I going to survive or what? That's the kind of fear I was hoping Steppenwolf would present in this movie, but I never got it. And it was a letdown in that sense. And so the villain failed there again. I don't think Marvel or DC has gotten a good villain to step up to the plate and just make it work. I don't know why. Why can't they get the villains right? So the CG and the villain there for Steppenwolf, same thing. You can tell there are things that were missing in the movie. I thought the movie flowed really well. Okay, that I did like that. There were certain scenes that felt like they had to rush and jump from one thing to another because they got to progress the movie along. There were certain scenes that they could have just added a couple of more shots into it to make it understandable. And I think that's where the WB executives should just shut their mouths. From what I understand, the original cut was 2 hours and like 40 minutes. We got a 2-hour movie. They're like, no, we gotta keep this to 2 hours. Give us the 2 hours and 40 minutes. What is wrong with you? All right. There was probably some other cool things that were missing that would have made the movie even better. And I already liked it. I gave it a B. I probably would have given it an A if you have added those extra 40 minutes. I don't understand who is in charge at Warner Brothers. Who's making these dumb decisions? Give the people in charge of the visual, the creative, the story. Let them tell the story. They obviously know what they're doing. You are an executive. How many of you have read comics books, I wonder? Warner Brothers, are you guys even comic book readers? Do you even know the story of Superman or Batman? If you don't, let those other people do it, and then get the fans to give you their reaction, all right? Don't say, oh, we got to keep it to 2 hours because that's the most attention we'll keep. No, whatever. Run your business, let the creative people do theirs, and just be happy, all right? Those are the things that hurt the movie the most, I think. But I still, like I said, I had a good time. I enjoyed the movie, but I can see where the flaws were. And for me, the good outweighed the bad in the end. Let's talk about the Flash Superman mid-credit scene. That was great. If you're a comic book fan, you've seen this before. Smallville did it with the blur and what did they call him? They didn't call him the Flash in Smallville. Well, they did it there. And then Supergirl did it with the Flash that we see in the TV series. They had a race there too. And now here, this is a comic book thing that I think a lot of people that know the story is going to enjoy because it's in the comic book. So the very, very end credit scene where we get to see Lex Luthor and Deathstroke. Obviously, they're preparing us for what's to come. Are we going to finally get the Lex Luthor that we all know from the comics? Not the Batman v Superman Lex Luthor that we saw. And then we're getting Deathstroke, which I think a lot of fans are excited to see as a villain. One of Batman's probably greatest villains out there, because he's like Batman in the sense that he doesn't have superpowers. He's just really good at what he does. Having those two end credit scenes was actually a great moment for a lot of fans that know the stories. And so tell me what you think of that one. Overall, I enjoyed the Justice League movie. I think it's a great movie. I think you should watch it. I've seen it 3 times already, and I'm probably going to see it again and for sure going to buy it, because it's one of those movies that I've been waiting for a while, and I am glad they got it right. Like I said, unfortunately, it's not making the money that it should be making. We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Are we going to get more Justice League movies after this? Are we going to see additional DCEU characters with their solo movies? Are they going to reboot it? I have no idea, but I sure do hope that they continue on. I think they're definitely doing the right things. I don't know where some of the critics are seeing the flaws that make it that bad of a movie, because there are flaws, but not enough to bring it down to the point that it is. I think it's a way better movie than most people are saying. So let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree with me on the things that I discussed on my spoiler review? Did I miss anything? And let me know in the comments below for sure. I'd like to hear what everyone has to say. Give me a like if you enjoy this video. Thumbs up, of course. And then if you're new, subscribe to my channel. I love new subscribers. And as always, thanks for showing up for these. I'm going to try and keep making these because I love talking about movies. I could sit here and literally talk for hours about all sorts of movies. As always, thanks again, and I hope that you guys are watching movies, because I know that I am.